African art has long been a source of inspiration, tradition, and storytelling. From its ancient roots to its lasting impact on the global art scene, African creativity has influenced the world in ways many have yet to discover. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the rich history of African art and exploring how it has shaped cultures across the globe. The history of African art stretches back thousands of years. It began with ancient rock paintings, pottery, and sculptures that reflected the spiritual beliefs and daily lives of early African civilizations. Art in Africa is deeply rooted in cultural practices, religious traditions, and communal values. In many regions, art was not only a form of expression, but also a way to connect with ancestors and spirits. The Benin bronzes of Nigeria, the terracotta sculptures of the Nok culture, and the beautiful wood carvings from across the continent were created with this deep spiritual meaning in mind. Masks played a central role in African art. Often used in rituals and ceremonies, they were believed to hold the power of the spirits and ancestors they represented. These masks, rich with symbolism, also served as a connection between the physical and spiritual worlds. In the early 20th century, European artists began to encounter African art, and it revolutionized the Western art world. Artists like Pablo Picasso and Henri Matisse were inspired by the bold forms, abstract shapes, and expressive power of African sculptures and masks. This influence gave rise to artistic movements like Cubism and Fauvism, forever changing the trajectory of modern art. Picasso's work, in particular, drew heavily from African aesthetics. His groundbreaking piece, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, was directly influenced by African masks. The simplified forms, fragmented faces, and abstract representations became hallmarks of the Cubist style, reflecting the deep impact of African art on his creative process. Matisse was similarly enchanted by the vibrant colours and organic forms in African art. His exploration of colour, shape, and line was inspired by African sculpture, which pushed him to experiment with new artistic techniques that would later become iconic. African diaspora and contemporary art. The influence of African art did not stop with European artists. African traditions and aesthetics were carried to the Americas and the Caribbean through the African diaspora, where they continued to evolve and inspire new forms of artistic expression. In the 20th century, artists like Jean-Michel Basquiat and Wilfredo Lam drew from their African heritage to create powerful contemporary pieces that blended African iconography with modern themes of identity, race, and colonialism. Their works bridged the gap between the past and present, speaking to the enduring legacy of African art across continents. Today, African artists like El Anatsui, Yinka Shonibare, and Njideka Akunyili Crosby are pushing boundaries, gaining international acclaim for their innovative works that celebrate African identity, history, and global influences. Their art challenges the Western-dominated narrative, recentering Africa in the global art scene. African art in fashion, music, and design. Beyond fine art, African aesthetics have had a profound influence on fashion, music, and design. Designers like Virgil Abloh, Duro Olowu, and Olivier Rousteing have embraced African patterns, textiles, and silhouettes, bringing them to the global fashion stage. African design is also making waves in architecture and interior design. The use of bold patterns, natural materials, and vibrant colors are inspired by traditional African styles, creating spaces that are both contemporary and deeply connected to African heritage. And let's not forget the power of African music. Genres like Afrobeat, Afropop, and highlife have had a massive global influence, shaping the sounds of modern pop, hip-hop, and electronic music. Artists like Fela Kuti, Burna Boy, and Wizkid have taken African rhythms and melodies to the world, inspiring countless musicians along the way. The future of African art. As we look to the future, African art is positioned to continue its influence on the global stage. Young artists across the continent are using traditional techniques with modern tools to create new narratives, experimenting with technology, sustainability, and social justice themes. The global art market is paying attention. African art is increasingly in demand, with major international exhibitions showcasing African talent. This growing recognition signals a new era where African voices in art are celebrated not just as inspiration, but as leaders in the global conversation. From its ancient roots to its profound influence on modern art, fashion, and music, African creativity continues to inspire and shape the world. Its impact is not just part of the past, it's vibrant, alive, and evolving as African artists and traditions take their rightful place on the global stage. Thank you for joining us on this journey through African art and its global influence. Be sure to subscribe for more insights into the fascinating world of African culture, history, and creativity. Don't forget to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. What part of African art inspires you the most? Let us know, and we'll see you in the next video.